Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and we're going back in a time machine this go round on the episode. This is going to be a sea lake, but it's not affiliated with Ocean City. This one was made in Los Angeles, California. Had a patent pending. It's a stainless steel reel. My guess from the 1930s. This has been provided by Scott, who does a little flea market finding, and he found this one out there. Well, this is a beautiful reel. I can't wait to get started on it, find out what makes this thing go. So we're going to take this apart, show you how it's made, we'll service it, and then well, put it back together again, and hopefully Scott will have stories to tell about this one. Maybe he'll take it fishing, I'm not sure. Maybe it'll be a shelf sitter, paperweight, I don't know. It's a beautiful reel. So we're going to get started by removing the side plate here. These look like they have some kind of just a tag. I don't know if those screws need to come out in order to complete the disassembly. We're going to find out. Kind of a unique approach. I haven't seen something like this before. Looks like this may do the same. Big, heavy deals. I saw when I previewed this, and I have to apologize, somebody had actually told me the manufacturer of this, and I believe it was a defense industry contractor. It could be wrong, but regardless, it is an interesting design nonetheless. All right, well, this is typical of what you would find in the early reels. The one side has got nothing more than a bushing associated with it. This has a bushing and a click mechanism. We're going to just clean that off. I use a spray of a penetrating oil. That's just enough. It'll take the tarnish off. The beauty of this reel, again, is it's stainless steel, so it hasn't rusted in all those years, and it's probably 90-year-old reel now. Make sure that the click works smooth as ever, and then we can just set that off to the side. Take the spool out next. Nothing much is coming off the spool side. We have some dirt in there. That's to be expected. That would have certainly accumulated over its lifetime. Just going to use a little base of steel wool here just to clean that up. And while I'm doing that, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you like fishing reel service and repair type videos, and if you also like learning about fishing reels. This one certainly fits that mold. We're all learning about this reel. I've never seen it before, and if you like that, then this is the place for you. It's a do-it-yourself channel. You're essentially looking over my shoulder as I service fishing reels that come into my shop. Sometimes our viewers are nice enough to send some fishing reels in for service and repair, and while I do that, if I have the opportunity to make a video on it, particularly on a reel that I haven't done a video on already, well, I just like doing that, and it adds to the library, and it adds to our collective knowledge base. So again, if you like that, subscribe. If you do subscribe, use that notification button. That's going to help you to see when I do my videos, and you can choose which ones you like to watch, because I do all kinds of videos on all types of fishing equipment: saltwater, freshwater, bait casters, conventional reels, spinning reels, and the like. All right, looks like a relatively simple design here, a combination jack and yoke. Looks like when we pull this up, it pulls this down. Pulling this down will disengage the pinion gear from the shaft of the spool, and then when you release, that tension in that spring is going to push that gear out and engage that as a clutch. All right, let's see what's hiding underneath here. This is kind of an interesting design. Normally you would take that side plate off and you would see the gearing. In this case, this is an external gear mounted to that. We'll take the handle screw off. It's kind of a long one there. It has a little lock washer on it. I put all my pieces and parts into a parts tray. That way I make sure that I know where that is when it's time to reinstall. Take the handle off next. It's just a little bit of old dirt and grease on there so that handle will go in. Now we'll take the adjuster. So this has a star adjuster. Star adjusters came into being with von Hoff, and he held the patent. I think they came in the early 1900s. So as much as we would like to date this one based on that, it's kind of hard. But if any of you have a close-in range, and I know when I did the previews on these, somebody had the actual manufacturer of it. If you know the date range of that, then please let us all know, and we'll add that to the narrative. All right, there was a washer that's holding that little collar on there, which no doubt has the drag washers on the underside of this. Now we have 3 screws that are holding in this cap, which is going to have the gear on this side. Again, nice interesting design to this. It's different. Most of the time you would remove these and there'd be a bridge plate underneath that's using this big, this reel obviously is using this big disc on the drive side as that bridge plate. And I kind of can't wait to see what's going on underneath. Alright, I've taken the 3 screws out. I put them on my table first because I want to make sure they're the same size, and they are. So now I'm going to place them in the tray. And if you're doing a reel, whether it's this reel or any reel, I encourage you to take pictures as you do the disassembly. That way, if something is out of order when you go to reinstall, you can go back to the pictures as a reference. This would be a good time to take that picture. Well, we're going to remove this. Underneath we have just a little bit of old dry grease, so we're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to grab my spray of penetrating oil. I'm going to use a little flat-bladed screwdriver because this is varnished over. Be gentle. You don't want to scrape the heck out of it, but you do need enough of a scrape to get that old varnished dried grease out of there. And while I'm doing this, if you have any questions on a fishing reel, maybe you're working on one and stuck, maybe you found a fishing reel in your attic, in your closet, in your grandfather's trunk, whatever, and you just want a little bit of information on it, maybe the history of it or that, I will try and do my best to kind of point you if I don't know the answer. If I do know the answer, I'm certainly happy to make sure that I give that to you. I am a member of that Old Reel Collectors Association. It's called ORCA, and they provide an awful lot of information. I'd be happy to pass that along to you. This is a good place to take a picture. We have a anti-reverse dog mounted here. There is a spring that's loaded to this little side plate here. There's a hole right here. Spring wraps around that post and it comes out on this side of the dog. So if you've taken that spring off for some reason, well, that's a good place to look for it in terms of remounting it. I'm going to pull this off now. I think this should come off. There you go, just a bunch of dried grease. There's also a bridge sleeve here that should come off. That one's not cooperating as much. I don't see a pin on this or anything. And for whatever reason, this one doesn't want to come off. A couple of oil ports. Just try and work that up again. Nope. We're going to leave that. Sometimes discretion is the better sense of it all. And in this case, I don't see a release pin. I don't want to kind of pry or jam or that. That is turning fine, and there is an ability to oil through the top here. So that's what we're going to do. We'll let that oil seep down onto the bridge post, and that'll be fine. Looking at the pinion gear, that's all clean. I'm just going to put new grease on there. I'm using fishing reel grease. I'm also going to put a drop of oil onto that dog, right on that stem post there, so that it slides easily. All right, let's find out what we got underneath here. So the drag is actually mounted upside down. That's kind of an interesting play on this one. And I noticed right away that this one drag is out of its chute. These are nice, heavy, probably asbestos drag. at least from what I can tell. And they seem to be in good condition. I'm just checking them, making sure that there's no chips or cracks and that they're functional. And these are actually in wonderful condition based on the age of this reel. Alright, I noticed that this keyed washer here has a D shape to it. There's a flat side. That means there's a flat side over here on the post. So I want to go ahead and put this on and mount these from that post position, if you will. That way I don't risk misalignment as I put these on. Just want to make sure that I have this right. Alright, well this one's interesting. This has the opposite of the way that drag stacks are in modern day. Modern day you would have two keyed washers which would hold it to the post and one eared washer which would hold it to the main gear. This one's opposite. This one has two eared washers and one keyed washer. So we'll go ahead and put these on then. And again, this is kind of a deed when I go into the eared washer first. And it looks like the next one up would be that's the eared washer. I was wrong, there is an additional washer here. So we're going to alternate. Next one up would be the keyed washer. Next one up would be the eared washer. I think maybe that's where it got a little bit confusing, but go ahead and put that back in. Then the last of the fabric washers, the last of the keyed washer. This is the one with the flat side. We're having a little bit of trouble. There we go. We're good with that. We can turn it at this point, make sure that it turns nice and easy, which it does. Crank it, make sure your dog is not disturbed. And that's about it. It's an inspection, it's a cleaning, and it's a reassembly. So let's go ahead and put the cover back on here. It's just a little bit of dirt I'm noticing in that little furrow where it sticks out, so we'll take care of that. And it's time to mount your cover. We'll go for this 3 screws, which we know are the same. And this one, based on its simplicity of design and based on the materials that are used in this one, well, this one can go fishing on for another 100 years. I guess the only issue you might have at some point is that those drag washers, and I don't know if they've been replaced, but if they're 80 or 90 years old, they're still going. But those drag washers may need to be replaced at some point. But short of that, this reel is in very nice condition. Scott had a very nice flea market find here. So again, I think, I don't remember if the name of this was Platinum Industries or something like that, maybe. I'll have to go back and look at the comments section, or if somebody can just remind me what it is, that would be helpful as well. The manufacturer. Always nice to know where they were made, how they were made, and in some cases why they were made. There's some specialty reels out there that just, well, they were that. They were a specialty reel. All right, last thing in then is the handle screw. And we'll put it back together. We'll put some grease onto the spool. We'll give it a try. I think he has a nice find here. As a side note, when you're working on fishing reels, make sure that you use the screwdriver that's appropriate to the size of the slot on the screws. A lot of times folks want to take an easy way out with these things, and unfortunately what they do is they use an undersized blade. That undersized blade butterflies the screw, and then, well, you're kind of lost there. All right, I think this one is probably in the on position. We'll take it off. We've already put some grease onto the stud for the spool on the non-gear side. Put a little bit of grease into that bushing. Now we can make sure we get this on. And I like this reel for its simplicity. All right, now I guess we just have to kind of play around with these bars. I think when you get one on, you're probably going to get them all set up. It's kind of unusual. I'm going to tighten down to one side. I'm not sure there's an answer in terms of does it go high, does it go low, does it go in the middle. All right, and I think the bottom one. So stainless steel parts probably gives us a clue about what the manufacturer was doing, because not everybody worked in stainless, that's for sure. The early bait casters did have a stainless, a lot of them used the German silver kind of approach, and they certainly were high quality there as well. All right, we've got one more of these. And I'm noticing as I look at my parts tray, I made an error. Proving once again my humanity. I guess if it's human, I gotta go put that star adjuster on. That's a good reason to use the parts tray. You look in the parts tray when you're done, and if there's pieces of parts in there, well, then you didn't do it correctly, did you? Well, no harm. Take this off right now. I'll be too anxious to get ahead of myself there, and I did. All right. Now we can put the star adjuster on. And then if you use the handle as a key, that'll hold the shaft as you go to put it on the rest of the way. Oh, good. All right. Handle on. You take the prior step, put the screw on. I like to hand tighten them as much as I can. That way I know I'm not cross-stripping the threads. Tighten up that. First thing we're going to do is bring it into the free spool position. Give that a turn. And boy, does that not turn easily. Wow. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and turn the reel. Very nice. 80 to 90-year-old reel operating just beautifully. Wow. So that's it. That's a little bit of a history lesson and a little bit of work on how to work on a sea lake, Los Angeles, California, deep sea fishing reel, probably the 1930s. So I hope you've all enjoyed that. If you did, please like it. If you want to see more, again, please subscribe. And to everybody who's in our healthcare professions, to all of our first responders and essential personnel, and to all who work in keeping us safe, thank you for your continued service. To everybody, please stay safe, stay well, stay watching. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.